The ongoing wars in the world. So, how do you explain to a child that someone can just go in and there's hate in so many parts of the world. There's hate in Africa, there's hate in Russia and Ukraine, there's hate between, Israel and, all of the terrorists on that side. And it's just like, how do you explain to someone that this is not right? So the greatest fear is what you can't control. So that's really my greatest fear is the world itself. The joy and the fun and doing the things I love. So traveling, dating, being, having a son, having, people are like, he looks identical to you, Greg. So like hearing that, live in a beautiful country and have life experiences like go to basketball games, go to plays, go to see a movie, go to a nice restaurant, go travel parts of Canada, go travel parts of the world that I've never been before, cycle in Italy, do things that I've never thought I would do, help others. It's actually like, no, I get to enjoy life and I get to participate in life. The one that was my losing my mom. Like I knew at some point both my parents were getting older, and I knew one of them would go. And I just knew that she was battling cancer. And I knew she wasn't, I knew she wasn't getting any better. And I ignored it, trying to pretend like it was all going to be fine. The one day I remember distinctly, she called me over to the house to tell me some news. And she basically sat myself and my dad down at their dining room table and said, the cancer isn't going away and they haven't given me much chance to live. And I think that's when it was like, my mom and I had a cry, and it was like just losing her, like probably 3 weeks later, like April 1st, 2017. And yeah, I would say losing her and all of the things that she meant and were things I didn't even know she did or provided for me or for other family members. But what it also gave me was losing my mom. It also taught me that like nothing else in life, like you lose a parent or a family member, it toughens you up and it gets you present to that you can get through anything. I don't know if you know this, but my partner and I had a baby boy last year. So we have a young son by the name of Miles. So he's 18 months and he is, I've done lots of stuff like traveled and, done well in sales and stuff and, have a partner. But it's like having a boy, having a child is like, and at first I was like, this is changing diapers and he doesn't talk and he doesn't walk. Like, what am I going to do? But now everything I do is for him. Now, I still do for stuff for myself, but it is to give where I know I've been afforded some great things in life and I can pass those on. This one is interesting. So I grew up in a Christian household. So I think having God and and I went through phases where like, you're not forcing me to go to church. I would say there are two things. One, having a Christian background and having God as, a relationship. But the other one would be like landmark. Like when I came into my life 10 years ago. It's funny, I start my day with two things, prayers and meditation. I would never have done meditation because I would have thought that was stupid 10 years ago. And I would have never done prayers. And so I think for me, it is a combination of, well, it's spiritual, the clear, for all of the things that are mind, body, spirit. And I also think just having a foundation of someone who, I believe in, that has set those things have set me on a path to be like, okay, you know what's right from wrong, you know where to put integrity in, so those two things keep me grounded and really have been transformational in my life. So the reason why I think tipping should go out of existence is I think, and I listen, I don't have a problem with people, waitresses or waiters or people who want to earn a living. But when you show up in a restaurant and they have an expectation that you should put your money down, and I'm like, wait a minute, you haven't done anything. Or I order a coffee. I've done the work to walk to the counter. I've done everything, and you want a tip. And so for me, a cultural practice that should go out of existence is give people the ability to tip if they choose to tip, but don't make people feel guilty. So that's one. And then the other one, we in North America have gotten too accustomed to people wanting Christmas gifts. I think there's a lot of people in this world that need food, water, shelter, and I do believe in the spirit of giving, but give for helping somebody else. Don't have an expectation that you want a gift. The one, and I know this would be, controversial, but the thing that I wish, when I used to go to school, you used to have like the national anthem and the Lord's Prayer, and I just having like the national anthem of a country that we live in. I think that's something that, it's kind of just like, yeah, whatever. And I think living here, I remember like, standing up for the country. You don't have to go to war, but like standing up and being present. Like, yes, they do it in the arenas, but I don't think they do it in the schools until I think it's something that, well, and if they do, that's something I would really want not to go out of practice. Growing up with thing was wired and then to the explosion of the internet and to the complete transition of like how a mobile phone is basically a small computer. So how we went from the 70s to the 2000s, sudden it's like, wow, how the world moves it's is faster and faster. Not only do you have these tools, but these tools can allow you to work from anywhere. The ability to have technology at your fingertips, Google, Facebook, Amazon, and then the likes of Microsoft who've reinvented themselves. Some of these companies didn't exist 10 years, 12 years ago. So that's what it is for me is the speed at which technology moves and the speed at which companies didn't exist now exist and are mammoth. And then you look at places where if you don't pay attention, you become the dodo birds.